the first Sunday of May. So I am here today to welcome you to Embrace Your Crown. I'm just going to mute this because I can hear an echo and it drives me crazy. But anyway, so yeah, so welcome, welcome. I know that many of you are going to pop on. As you pop on and stop in, thank y'all so much for spending some of your time with me on this Sunday. Every first Sunday at 4 p.m. Central, I do a program at the first of the month on Sundays just to kind of help us set the tone for the month we're going to be going into, which right now is May. Okay. If you are unfamiliar with Embrace Your Crown, I am the author and visionary ultimately of the series, and the design and concept of the series I will go over during the live. Ideally, this is probably going to last about 45 minutes to an hour, maybe. I'm trying to not so much accelerate them. I want to make sure that they're as effective as they need to be. Okay. So today our topic is restructuring. Okay. Restructuring. It's not time to tuck and run. Okay. Restructuring. It's not time to tuck and run. I know for some of us, we are going through some changes. We're wanting to do new things. We're wanting to have more. And we're really looking at this and saying, is this something I really want to fight for? Do I really want to fight for my marriage? Do I really want to fight for, my job, my career, my education, my business, to learn to crochet? I'm going to tell y'all why I'm saying that later. But I want to let y'all know many of you are wanting to do great and amazing things, and you're only getting held up by the fact that some things you have to restructure. Okay. Some of us bit off more than we can chew, and now we're ready to fight ourselves and call ourselves everything under the sun than what actually is what's happening, which is sometimes we can put ourselves in a position we are not yet in. You want to be an expert when you haven't even become a student. Okay. So my daughter recently, yesterday actually, she was wanting to do something really great for one of her older sisters anyway. She wanted to create a character. And in wanting to create this character, she had to learn how to crochet and learn how to design and put it all together. But y'all know, if y'all ain't never crocheted a day in your life, that is too much, a tall order to put on yourself in one day. But that's what my child did, which I commend her for having a good heart. Some of us have great hearts. We want to build our business overnight and get everybody blessed and help everybody with something we've learned or something we know we can do and we can do well. The only problem is we might not have put the organization in, so our business is unstable. Okay. Her skill set to crochet what she had good intentions to do is unstable. And then she turned on herself because she couldn't do what she wanted to do as quickly as she wanted to do it. For some of us, this is the reason why we're having to get to a phase of restructuring. Sometimes before you can move forward, you have to restructure how you envision going forward. Sometimes you have to rework the plan because the original plan isn't the one you're going to use. Okay. And I want to let you know, in restructuring, it's not a time to bury what you said you wanted to do. It's not a time to run away from your dreams because you feel like they're too big or maybe you wasn't being reasonable. No, this is part of the process. And this is where I want to take you to next. Okay. So if you're with me, thank you for being here. Here we are. This is my first prompt I want you to think through today. Okay. Restructuring, don't stop the process, because when you're restructuring, that meant what you were doing already isn't working. Maybe it used to work, but today, right now, it's not. Maybe your ads were working before, but now you run them and you get hardly nobody. It's time to restructure. Sometimes restructuring is simple, changing the word. Sometimes it's changing zip codes, it's moving, it's relocating. These are big restructures, and they do take time to build in a new infrastructure, to establish new boundaries when you're doing something grand. And I want to help you to try to be patient with yourself. Okay, so here we go. When it stops working, don't stop the dream, restructure it, level up. This means adversity, pressure, and challenges will come, and they are not all from the devil. I know some of us are like, man, that did the devil. That did the devil. No, sometimes it's just challenge. Sometimes challenge doesn't have a devil stamp on it, and we're giving power or guidance or attributions to something that has nothing to do with your challenge. Sometimes your challenge is just your test. That's all it is. It's just a test. Oh, that's just the devil. No, it's just a test to see if you know something that you've been studying. It's just to test you. Okay. So don't give all this credit to the devil that he did not earn. Okay. Unnecessary real estate too. Anyway, God can use anything to make you. Don't assume this process is the devil's work, but your bless up. Okay. Because the Father can use anything to bless you and to keep you moving forward if you only would trust him. Okay. So I want to take y'all back. If y'all are not trusting the Father the same way you did in the beginning, I want to show you how faithful he is, even when we come through or go through times where we don't quite know what he's doing. Okay. Sometimes he'll lead us somewhere and we're like, Lord, why would you bring me here? Why now? Why to this person? Why am I here? Why can't I leave this job? I don't like it. I get it. I've had moments like that too, where I wanted to leave a job. Lord knows I did, but I knew to pray about it before I just walked off. Okay. Because when we just walk off of stuff or quit stuff prematurely, then we find that we suffer because we're no longer obedient. Okay. The Bible says obedience is greater than sacrifice. But for some of us, I would say this: if you're not going to be obedient, you will sacrifice. You'll sacrifice stuff that was never meant to go. You'll sacrifice your peace. You'll sacrifice your confidence. You're sacrificing stuff that was never meant to even be tested in that way. But the enemy will show you or try to convince you that what you have is not really what you have. This is why Adam was and Eve was so quick to give up the garden, because they didn't realize what they really had. And when they heard it, they didn't fully believe it. They had doubt that crept in through someone else's influence and words. So for some of us, we started off really good, and I'm going to commend you for the things you're doing great today. That's what this is about. But I'm also going to challenge you on the things that may have you shook. Y'all ready? All right. So I am going to take you through a quick agenda. Okay. I'm going to give you the history of Embrace Your Crown, real simple. Then I'm also going to give you an intro to me. I am author Klee, but I'm also known as Dr. Krystal Lee. Okay. So you can acknowledge me by either one. I'm going to tell you who the royals, the kings, and the queens are, because there is a breakdown in the categories. Of course, y'all know royals for me, kings and queens are acronyms. Okay. So king, you have a keen understanding, you have integrity, you're natural, and you're generous. I don't know a good king that wasn't generous. Okay. For women, you are qualified, unique, ethical, encouraging, and you're also natural. You can be naturally you. Okay. Doesn't mean you gotta have natural hair necessarily, but it definitely means that you are not artificial. You are who you say you are. You mean what you say how you feel, but you can do things out of love. You don't have to bully people with your words or your influence. You stand on your own integrity. Okay. So I want to encourage you, now that we know some of that, next thing we're going to get to, of course, is the topic, which is restructuring. It's not time to tuck and run. If you've been running, I want to help you realize you don't have to. How many of y'all are like most people? You hear somebody's running, you see them running, so everybody start running. How many of you know sometimes when people are running, they're not running for any good reason? They're running because they're scared. But that doesn't mean you have to be. Okay. They're running because they saw other people running, and now you're running because you're watching other people run. Okay. It's not always something that is really the real cause of the run. It's just somebody wanted to see if you would follow them. How many of you were led by somebody who didn't know where they were going? They just looked like they did. So you follow them thinking it was better to follow them than not. Sometimes it's better to make your own way. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with getting out of the way, but why would you run the same direction they're running? What if the person that's running is only chasing them and you're in the way? Okay. Sometimes we're trying to block God's hand, Yah's hand, from touching people that has nothing to do with us. So when the Father says move, move. All right. And if you don't know when he's talking, I'm going to help you with that today too. Okay. All right. So here we go. The next thing we're going to do the check-in conversation. If you're new to Embrace Your Crown, we do 6 check-ins. Okay. 6 check-in questions or points. If you likely, we're going to have time to do 3 of them. Okay. The other 3 are dedicated to people that subscribe to support the program. You get the whole presentation and you can work through everything I wanted to share. But for the sake of time, likely I won't be able to get to. Okay. So when you follow, when you are in the Rolls Club, when you are definitely a partner with Embrace Your Crown, it's $26 a month to support the program. So if you want to do that, that's how you'll get access to the additional content that likely I won't have enough time to get through. Okay. So if you want to do that, thank you very much. I will share details on how to do that later in the live and the program. So feel free to take advantage of that. And then lastly, we're just going to tell you thank you. I'm going to highlight the books that make up the series. Of course, I will pin those as they come up. For many of you, you've probably have seen these books. There are technically 3 books in the series, 2 books that support it if you're wanting to launch your business right. And then the other one is how to write and tell your story. And if you want to get it published, it goes that far. Okay. So those are the 2 support guides that I use with Embrace Your Crown. Because for many of us, we're embracing something the Father wants us to do. And for many of us, that start a business. For some of us, it's write and publish our story, speak on it, talk about it, minister, disciple on it, all of those things. So you don't have to turn this to an e-commerce thing. You can make it a family thing where you are journaling your life story or any of that. Ideally, all of these books and resources, I believe, will help you to just embrace where you are right now. Okay. If you don't need the books, no problem. That's one of the way to support what I'm doing with Embrace Your Crown. You can order any of them. You can, of course, also subscribe. And as you subscribe, you can get one of the books every month and all kinds of other things. I find ways to make it approachable. Okay. So if you have questions about that, you can always message or comment, and I will always reach back out. Lord's will, as long as I'm alive. All right. So here we go. So these are the 3, like I said, main books for Embrace Your Crown. I have a big announcement in this live. Okay. Many of you who probably tuned in last month, I announced that that was going to likely be the last episode for a while until I restructured. How many of y'all know I thought restructuring would take me longer than till the next episode or the next month, the first Sunday, but the Father has other plans. And I want to talk to you. This is kind of what prompted this conversation on restructuring, because I myself is going through a couple of restructures, and none of them were planned. For many of you, you're forced to restructure. It's not voluntary, which also puts another level of either focus, frustration, concentration, or intention into what we're about to engage in this conversation. And I believe that you want to take through the month of May. Okay. So I'm going to show you how, well, I'm going to show you my bio. When I tell you my bio, I'll give you a little bit more in what I was just about to say. But first, let me give the attribution, or, what is it? Attribute, yes, this time, to what these 3 books do. Okay. And I'll talk more about each of them later towards once we finish the check-in. I want to make sure we make room for what we're going to do. Okay. You were born with a purpose, on purpose, for a purpose. Okay. Will you embrace your crown and live your purpose is the only real question that I pose with the series. Okay. There's no doubt, nobody, no matter when you're born or how long you've been here or what you've done and what you haven't done, none of that really matters as much as what are you going to do now? Okay. We don't live backwards. We live forward. Okay. Now, whether you go forward in the timeline or in your aging process and still be back there is your choice. Hey, Orange Swan. I know I got to shout out my Rose members. Thank y'all for tapping in. As I see you, I'm going to acknowledge you and tell you thank you. 4 Sons, thanks so much for being here. I know you tapped in all the time. Real quick, if you love what you're hearing, make sure you lift up the hearts like y'all already doing, and definitely put comments in. I will do my best to answer. For the sake of time, I may have to do it towards the end, but I would definitely do my best to get your questions answered within the live. Hey, Stephen, good to see you. I appreciate you lifting up those hearts. And some of the new followers, I know there's a couple of them. Jonan, so good to see you back. Thanks for sharing love. I see you as well. So I thank you. Let me see. Hold on one second. It was a couple of people that just followed me. I want to make sure I acknowledge you. God is love. How you doing, love? Thanks for being here. It was another one too that I know followed a little while ago, but I want to let y'all know I celebrate those who are choosing to connect with me, for sure, for sure. I know there's a lot of things you could be doing on a Sunday, and I thank you for being here with me. Okay. And Lord's willing, it's going to bless you as much as it blesses me. All right. So let's keep going. So yeah, so these are the 3 books. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. And I'm going to do a big announcement. Y'all going to be ready for this. It's going to be good. Okay. You're welcome, Georgia. How you doing, honey? It's so good to see you. I've seen your, I feel like I've seen your name before. All right, but let's do this. Here we go. My name is Dr. Krystal Lee, as I mentioned earlier. He said for sure. I'm a business owner, consultant, and author of over 60 books. I help new authors tell their stories, launch their businesses, and live on purpose. Welcome to EYC. EYC, by the way, is Embrace Your Crown abbreviated. All right. So Chloe, how you doing, hon? Thank you so very much. Another thing I want to let you know, if you post unnecessary comments, I'm gonna mute you. I won't block you because I believe you need what you're about to hear. Okay. So even if you say some crazy stuff, I'm gonna just mute you, but stay in the chat, stay in the live so you can hear what the Father has for you. Because I believe it's something good. All right. Here we go. Let's go to the next one. So here is my welcome. All right. You might say, Krystal, who did you really make it for? Good question. There are four groups that are usually a part of Embrace Your Crown, and you can see where you are in the midst of that. All right. So I talked to kingdom builders. These are people who are leaders of organizations or businesses. Okay. If you're in the room, how you doing? I'm one of those people. I'm in that group. I definitely build up. I have two companies that I own and manage, and I also manage a nonprofit as a chairman. So technically, I run three companies. Okay. So how many of y'all know when you're a boss, okay, there's a lot riding on you. You have salaries, people, freelancers, vendors. You have to still run your companies, plus put out whatever products you make personally. I am a published author, so I have to make time for my own books as I'm publishing, editing, and ghostwriting for others. Okay, so I do Embrace Your Crown because I wrote the book series, and then I wanted to support others that are doing what I'm doing. Somebody's got to pour back into us, or where will we be? All right. So the next thing I talked to royals, these are managers who cultivate and build others. Okay. So you could be a manager on your job. You can be a manager of your household. You could be a manager of yourself and of your time and do it well. All right. And so I want to commend you. I want to pour back into you during this live. These are the knights is the third category. These are people who develop others socially, spiritually, or function as a intercessor. Okay. So if you're the one that's constantly, helping, being a peacemaker, if you're the one that's constantly praying and looking for resources to give to someone else, if you buy stuff and say, man, this is going to be perfect for Sharon because she's been talking a whole lot about this, or so and so just lost their somebody they love, let me send them flowers. You're a knight. Okay. Which means you are looking out for a lot of people. But how many of you know sometimes as a knight, no one or not enough people are looking out for you? All right. So that's where I want to come in and bless you. I'm Dr. Krystal Lee. I want to be here to help you, to encourage you, and to fill you back up again. And then for those of you who are specially invited guests, you know you need something and you want your life to transform and go beyond change. If you've been trying to change your life and things are remaining more of the same and you want that to change, I want to help you with Embrace Your Crown. All right. So those are the four categories. These are the three books. This is the conversation. And now we're going to get into the foundation of today. Okay. So I like starting off with scriptures so you know essentially what we are going to be jumping into. Okay. When we jump into scriptures, some of the things that, I want to make sure are, let me just switch this up a little bit for those on this screen. I want to make sure you can see this a little bit better. So here it is. Okay. So we went through this one already. So let me just jump us ahead a little bit. We went through the agenda. I'm just going to skip this ahead so you guys can see it on your screens directly. All right. So yeah, so I'm catching this up. So here are going to be the Bible verses that we're going to use as our foundation. Okay. I believe that the word is a sure. How many of y'all know it's a sure, firm foundation? Because life is, some people are flaky. Sometimes situations are flaky. Weather is flaky. We call weather bipolar in too many cities and states, and even countries. So if that's the case, Lord, how can I plan for tomorrow when tomorrow is so flaky? All right. So I want to give you some foundational text that will help us enjoy this conversation a whole lot more. Okay. One of them is Romans 8:28. This is coming from the ESV. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Okay. So remember earlier I said, don't give the devil all of this credit as if he's doing everything and making everything happen, when really Romans 8:28 is in effect for you. Okay. That means all things happening. Not all things that are happening in your life are because of God, but they can be what? Permitted or permissible by God. So then the question is, if he permitted it, then what is he going to do with it? What does he want you to do about it? Does he want you to grow from it? I would say yes, because he says, what? I'll take you from glory to glory. Okay. So I'm going to take you from where you are, but I want to take you higher. Okay. We know what a glow up looks like, but do you know what a bless up looks like? Because a bless up comes with challenge. It comes with adversity. It comes with pressure, but it comes with you learning that you were bigger than you thought you were. It comes by you learning that I won't lean on my own understanding, because I know if I lean on God and I take Romans 8:28 seriously, then I know I'm going to be all right. But how would you ever learn that if you were never in a position to learn it? Okay. So here we go. The next thing I want to show you is, it's not, like I mentioned earlier, it's not the devil that gave you work to do or a job. We must believe that it is God, or Yah. He gives us the ability to gain wealth. How many of you know, whether you work a job or you work a ministry, that all of these things are meant to empower the Father? Okay. So Deuteronomy 8:18 in the ESV reads like this: You shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to gain wealth, that he may confirm his covenant that he swore to your fathers, as it is this day. Ain't that amazing? What he's telling you is, I'm the same God from the time of Abraham to Moses to everyone and anyone that I made a promise to. And I'm faithful to them, like I'm faithful to this moment now, to do what I said I was going to do. And that is to continue to give you the ability to gain wealth. Now, if you have to gain wealth, that means you're going to have to what? Accumulate it, or earn it, or work for it, or build it. Okay. So I want to encourage you that working is not a curse. I know for some of us, we're like, oh no, I want to get to a point where I don't have to work anymore. No, you want to get to a point where you can do a work that don't feel like work, because it's what you're supposed to be doing. So you get fulfillment out of it, which makes it not feel like work. Okay. But if you are on earth, there is something the Father wants you to do. The first thing he told Adam was to what? Work and take care of where I'm putting you. I want you to what? Name animals. That's still work. Okay. For some of you, you're managers. You're having to what? Call out things. You're having to assess and do all these wonderful things. It's still a job. Okay. Roland Energy, how you doing? Welcome so much. Thanks for being here and being one of my Rose Club members. You know, I had to shout you out. Thanks for sharing the live, hun. Okay, so here are some more foundational texts that I got to make sure you get, because jumping in the conversation, leaving these out, is just having a conversation with no solutions. How many of y'all know conversations like that are not really worth having, because really you're just talking? How many of you get tired of people just talking? Like, you just like talking, don't you? You just like to hear yourself. Eventually, you ain't going to want to hear that anymore. You're going to want to what? Get around people that make moves. Hey, God and I see you. Thank you so much, love. I thank you so much. Ice, I appreciate you. So I want to help us learn how to what? Weed out people that just taking up too much space. Hey, Nani, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for following, love. I see you. Okay, so here's the next verse I want to make sure you get. Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. It says this: The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and keep it. Notice he didn't put him in a Garden of Eden to do nothing, to retire, to play golf, to just have fun and live his best life. If anybody would have had a moment or a time like that, surely it would have been Adam. He would have been the first person on earth to not have to work. But instead, he was the first person on earth with a job. But it didn't feel like a job. It didn't feel like a job because it was something he desired to do to what? Please the Father. The Father put him here to show his what? Gratitude. He did what the Father asked him to do. Okay. It can be really simple. It doesn't have to be extremely complex. But the whole point is, if you're on earth, there is something the Father wants you to do. Now, whether you call that work, a job, a ministry, or whatever, you could fill in that gap based on sometimes the way we feel is how we fill it in, right? But I want to encourage you, see all things, right? Work everything as unto Christ. That's what the word tells us, because this helps us what? To achieve all that there is that he wants for you. Okay. So here it is, 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verses 10 through 12. I want to show you this. Hey, Quantum, it's so good to see you. I appreciate you being here and being in the Rose Club. I appreciate you. Evangelist in the building, what's up? Hey, Cousin Mark, good to see you too. All right, so here we go. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 10 through 12 goes like this. For even when we were with you, we would give you this command. If anyone is not willing to go to basically to work, let him not eat. For we hear that some among you walk in idleness, not busy at work, but become busybodies. These are people that are gossiping, talking. They ain't getting nothing done, but they got all these complaints about management, about your style, about how you doing things, why you need to change, all of these directions, but they're not even following the first direction, which is to do what their job description tells them to do. So then these people are the ones that complain, unfortunately, the most. Now, if we're not careful, we are bending our businesses, we are bending our sphere of influence against people that have no intention of actually doing good by what their current assignment is. And the word says, if these people are not willing to work, don't let them eat. Don't let them earn. They have to what? Earn it. Okay. They got the ability to gain wealth. They're full bodied. So they don't have an excuse. But we get to a point where I don't want to work. I don't want to do it. Okay. So if that is the question or if that is the case, this is some of the ways we are failing our companies because we are paying people because we love them and like them and we hope that it'll inspire them, but it's not really showing them how to be accountable. It's not really showing them what you really mean as a corporate culture. So now you have a corporate culture where everybody can do what they want to do. And then when they feel like working, we'll come together and we'll work then, but they don't have to do that from start to finish. I want to encourage you, if you create the culture, then people will go along to get along and do what you allow. Okay. And that's not just in your business, that's also for your life. Okay. So here's the latter part of it. Now, such persons we command and encourage in the Lord, Yeshua the Christ, to do their work quietly and to earn their own living. Okay. Having the ability to gain wealth also means having the ability to earn wealth. Okay. That means you will have to work. Now, how you work is this is where the fun comes. This is the part everybody likes, is being able to choose what we have to do, will do in order to survive or make a living, take care of our families, and to serve God ultimately. Right. So here we go. Now we're getting to the first check-in point. Okay. And real quick on the time, we're at about 30 minutes in. So we're doing pretty good. So in this, the first comment question I want you to consider as we begin our check-in is this: you dared to dream. Okay. For many of us, we dared to do something great. We dared to change our lives. We dared to journey into something we've not done before. And now here we are, or maybe we've been doing it a long time and it's been working very well. We've been consistent. Our results have been consistent. But then here comes a wrinkle in the system. What do you do when the wrinkle in the system comes? Okay. But the first thing I want to do before we get to the wrinkles, I want to acknowledge the fact that you dared to dream. So in book number 2 of the Embrace Your Crown series is called Open 5 Gates to Overcome Unbelief. Okay. So in this book, one of the chapters is Dare to Dream. And the reason why it is a dream is because for some of us, we tried stuff and it didn't really work the way we wanted it to work. Okay. And for some of us, when things don't work the way we want it to work, we quit. Okay. We give up. We say this wasn't God. I was tripping. I didn't really hear him well. Or if we hit a rock, okay, then we're like, oh, that ain't my dream anymore. I'm gonna what? Consolidate the dream. I'm gonna make my dream smaller so I can achieve it. All right. But how many of you know when we do that, we can find ourselves more disappointed because we feel like lackluster when it comes to accomplishing the things that we set out to do because our goals were not complex. I don't want to say complex enough, but I would say big enough. How many of you know some of us are praying for things you can solve? Yeah. Some of the things we're asking God to do, he's saying you can do that. Lord, help me make me more responsible. Okay. Write stuff down. Mean what you say. Show up when you say you're going to. Oh, Lord, I really want to make sure I work out. That's good. Make time for it. Make sure in the morning, 15 minutes, you make time for it. Now, when you feel like quitting, definitely the Father's there. When you are making the plans, he's going to be there. But I want you to realize there are going to be things that are all you. It's not God, it's you. So you make the decision on if you want to do it or not. And for some of us, we've already made decisions on things we're not going to do, even though we haven't tried. So when we give up on our dreams, before we give our dreams a chance to breathe, then we'll find that we strangle our dreams before we even start. How many of you will say, man, I really want to do something new, but nah, I ain't gonna do it. They ain't really like me. You know, it ain't gonna be you until it happens. I love what Pastor Michael Todd say. He says it's only crazy until it happens. And then after it happens, it ain't crazy no more. It's your new normal. Okay. It used to be crazy for me to think to get married after the previous, but I'm married and it ain't crazy no more. It makes sense. It's normal to me now. But for some of you, that's still abnormal. The thought of not being alone, the thought of not having to do everything, dare to dream, dare to dream, dare to see your life different, dare to move in a different way. Okay, because if you're scared to dream, then you're going to find that you're going to be stuck. Okay. Thank you so much, Christopher. I saw you looking at the book. I appreciate you. Okay. For some of you, this is also in the same book. You think you need magic to get somewhere. You think you need this grandiose power to change your life, like a fairy godmother to come in with a wand and just start moving things around. But the truth is, some of you can actually move your own debt. I know, ain't that crazy? We're so used to praying these wonderful prayers. And I'm not saying the prayers are not good. I'm not saying the prayers are not meant to be prayed. But I will say, what if the Father wants to give you a strategy to get you out of debt instead of giving you a clause? Some of us are looking for the clause to get out and do nothing. But sometimes that's not the lesson. All right. There are times when we say, well, Lord, if you just save me out of this, then I don't have to go through this. But how many of you are going to realize you got to go through it? Because when you come out of it, you're going to be more powerful than you were when you started. So really going through it made you stronger, bigger, bolder. And that's what you're going to need for what's coming. But when we run away from when we see big bills or big threats or Goliaths that are in our emotions, our mental or physical space, then we may run, right? Tuck and run when we really should not do that because we're going through a restructure. All right. Another thing I want you to know is you got to know the promise. Remember in the beginning that I gave you that foundational text. I gave you the foundational verse because when you think that, oh Lord, I can't do this. He's the same God. Like he says, I'm the same one that did it for Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. I can do the same thing that I promised them concerning you. For those who believe, he's going to take us from glory to glory. So we need to know the promises that we already have. We need to know the promises we made to ourselves and we made to other people. And if I tell you I'm going to do something, then I got to do it. Like I went to an event the other day and somehow I missed it, honestly, on my calendar. And I was not able to be there as early as I would have liked to been. But Miss Vicky was so sweet to call me and she was like, hey, it's almost 10 and we don't see you. And then I was at another event, which is why, unfortunately, I was late to that. Thank you so much. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get there. It might still be only 2 hours before the event ends. But since I told you I'm going to be there, I'm going to still be there. And so I still went to the event. And when I was there, I met Miss, what do you say? Her name is Lulu on here. And I also met Rose. Okay. And so sometimes when we are sent somewhere, it's not about how much money we make, but it's about our obedience to be there within the capacity in which we have. Now, I could have just let it go and just not showed up, but that's not my character. So if I tell you I'm going to come, I'm going to come. Even if I unfortunately have to adjust the time frame, I still want to make good on my promise. So if you are finding yourselves, oh, thank you so much. If you are finding, Daniel, I see you. So if you are finding yourselves overcommitted, sometimes we're just overcommitted. I double booked and I didn't realize it, or I did realize it, but I think in my head, I felt like I was going to decide later. And I ended up not deciding and it was decided for me. I woke up in the morning and I saw the first one telling me it was in 30 minutes. So I just went to that one. But anyway, this is why you have good assistants and good planners and stuff. That it definitely helps. Another thing I want you to know is you have to kick negativity. You got to kick negative people. You got to kick your own self-doubt in the butt out of the way, or you won't be able to dream. Dreams can be halted because of us. Dreams can be accelerated because of us, meaning because of you. Okay. So if you want to live your dream, you have to also know the promises so you can make room for miracles by being obedient to your process, meaning being consistent. Some days, you're not going to want to wake up and do certain things. Okay. Iron Dude, thank you so much for following me. I see you, hon. Some days you ain't going to want to wake up and do it. That's normal. I can't tell you one person that just gets up every day and never sometimes wakes up and say, Lord, do I have to? Even the Messiah said, Lord, do I really got to drink this cup? Because if I don't got to drink it, I don't want to. But don't let it be because I don't want to. Let it be because this is your will for my life. Okay. So for some of you, this is also your experience. This is also part of your restructuring. It's part of mine. There are days where I'm like, Lord, this Embrace Your Crown, I was ready to let this go. Last month, I was like, Lord, I did 3 years. I've been doing this for 3 years, every first Sunday. I've been coming out with books. I tell people about them, Lord. I did it. You told me to write it. I was consistent. I'm done. How many of you feel like that? Lord, you told me to write. You told me to build. You told me to show up. You told me to do this. Told me to cook dinner. I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do this no more. And the Father's like, no, you're not. You're not done. You just think you're done because you're tired. You just think you're done because you're looking at the results from your perspective and not mine. My question is, if the Father says, I'm very well pleased with you, is it enough for you to get up and do it all over again? Be honest with yourself. Tell the Lord how you feel, because he can accept it. He can hear everything you want to say, good, bad, or indifferent, happy, or sad. And guess what? He'll still love you and say, you know what? I understand, but let me show you. You don't see all that I see, but I know if you keep doing this for a while longer, you're going to see this person you're going to change their life. This is enough for me to ask you to do it again, but am I enough for you to want to follow me and allow me to show you what you're going to see? Some of you won't see all of the people you impact to the degree in which you impact them. For some of you, a smile just changed somebody's day. Somebody could be going through all kinds of stuff, but when they see you smile, it made them forget. And now they want to tell you thank you, but they may not walk up to you and tell you. Instead, they'll just smile back at you. And you think they've been smiling all day, but the truth is they ain't smiled in years. But something about your smile made them say, wow, Lord, thank you. Hey, Tommy, so good to see you. Thank you so much, honey. Okay, so I want to let you know, don't assume that what you are giving is insufficient to achieve what the Father wants to give through you. You don't have to have a title to be impactful. You don't have to have a building to minister. You don't have to have an ordinance to preach. Okay. You don't have to have certificate degrees to do things. However, the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. So you are going to have to be what? Learned. Okay. When Paul was on the Damascus road, it took him years to get to where he was at. He didn't just break, even though he knew what? All the Pharisaical things. He was a Pharisee. He understood those things, but the Father had to what? Restructure him. He had to what? Unlearn. He said, I had to count everything I knew as what? Dung, because I didn't know what was good. For some of us, the Father is what? Going through your life, and he's looking at what's good and what you don't need. And you want to trust him. You don't got to, but it's highly advisable. Okay. Thank you, Tommy. I see you. So I want to encourage you. Okay. If you're here, if this is what I'm saying is making sense, this is the book I want to encourage you definitely to read or to start with if you're looking for one of the Embrace Your Crown books. Now let's move on to the check-in number 2. Okay. So there are 6 check-in points. I'm going to do my best to get through all of them. Likely we'll get through 3. Okay. So that's the first one. Now we're transitioning into the second one. And the second one is walking. Okay. We're walking. What? Walking is living. Okay. We're all breathing. We're all doing something, right? We're all working or spending our time in some kind of way. Essentially, we're walking through life. My only question is, are you walking in power? Okay. Because there's one thing, to be walking. And there's a whole nother thing when you're like, okay, I need to walk in power. For some of us, we have been honestly a bit unhinged. We have started to get to a point where we doubt if anything we're doing is even worth it. Okay. So if you're walking in doubt, you're not walking in power. Thank you so much. You too, Mac. Okay. So if you are not ready to walk in power, then you're not going to walk in confidence. How many of you know when you're not walking in confidence, you're slower? Okay. How are you slower? You're slower because you're uncertain. When I'm uncertain, I'm more cautious. I'm looking more like, okay, is this working? Is this working? I start to second guess myself because I don't know if what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm not confident. And because I'm not confident, I'm not really walking in power or boldness. I'm really walking in, I hope this works. I'm walking in hopefulness. Okay. Hope is a good thing. But when you are in almost a wishful thinking phase of hopefulness, that is like the bare bottom. It really is. It's like you wish this works, but if it don't work out, you're all right because you didn't overcommit to the process. Okay. The Father wants your whole heart. He wants you to be sold out and completely invested. And I would say when we are attempting to do something new, if we are not committed to give our all, can we really be mad if we don't achieve all that we could have? Okay. So for some of us, we're like, man, this doesn't work. That doesn't work. They can't, they won't, they should, they shouldn't. For some of us, we can say these things so confidently because we know the degree in which we feel they invested. And if we feel like that amount is little, then we'll say, oh, that ain't, that's weak. Well, don't we say that? Oh, that's weak. That ain't real. That ain't got no what power. They ain't serious. Okay. Power can be substituted out for serious, bold. Okay. When we are lacking these things, it actually makes our efforts, it impacts our efforts ultimately. Okay. And so I want you to look at, how are you living your life? Are you living your life boldly? Are you expressing what you would like and what you would have and what you want other people to understand and know about you? Or are you hesitant to speak up for yourself because you wonder if they'll see your value or see what you're trying to do? And if they disagree with you, then you just leave. You're what, tucking and running. I want to let you know, when you're going through a restructure, when you are being analyzed, or when you're being analyzed, or when you're analyzing, I want you to look at what the real is. I don't want you to run from what the real is, because running from it doesn't delay. Okay. It doesn't change what the inevitable is. Okay. So here it is. What has you shook is the real question. Okay. What has you so scared that you're running? What has you shook, meaning you are in total doubt now? You're in total, either, yeah, I would say definitely total doubt, where everything you're doing is really feeling like it's going in reverse. You started off doing well, you started off feeling good, and now all of a sudden, nothing feels good. Nothing is making sense. Okay. If that's the case, something has you shook. Shook is another way of saying captive. One of the verses I love in the word is that the Messiah, Jesus, the living word, Yeshua, it says he's came to set the captives free. But when we don't know when we're captive in, or in bondage in, we find ourselves feeling like we don't need a savior. And by the way, he's the living word. So it's his word that comes into our lives to what, restructure how we think, how we feel, and how we have a will to do something. And ideally, a will to do good. Okay. The word says to think on things that are lovely, that are kind, that are worth a good report, that are going to put you in basically a position to be appreciative and all these good things. But how many of us are really meditating on things that are tearing up our world? We're afraid of this. We see bills, we see debt, we see loss, we see, people going backwards. We feel like we're going backwards. So we really don't see good. We really see a whole lot of bad. And this is why, of course, we are also picturing more bad. Oh, I see this getting worse, because if he keeps going like this, Lord, it's just going to get worse. This is the stuff we telling God instead of doing what he asked us to do, which is speak life. You have the power to what? Change your life. So for some of you, I'm going to just give you context. For some of you, you are looking at large loads of debt. How many of you have taken the time to look at your bills? Okay. If you look at your bills and you have to pay them off, for some of you, payment plans, credit cards, stuff like that, there is a way to pay them off. If you pay minimum balances, you will be paying on them for decades. Okay. You will lose money out of this world, because it's not meant to get you out of debt in a year, 2 or 3 years. It's meant to keep you in debt for as long as possible, so that money can continue to be garnished from your debt. All right. But for some of you, you will actually be able to eradicate your debt with a good plan. If you look at your bills, look at what they say you can pay, and then you can pay your debt off in 3 years. And if you can, pay that debt, pay that amount, not your minimum balance, and then add a little bit more when you can. Why? So you can see that you have the power to what? Gain wealth. And gaining wealth, it also means getting rid of liabilities. Now, there are some debts you want to carry because it positions you for better credit, to either get lines of credit, stuff like that. Of course, talk to a banker. I'm not that. I'm not giving banking advice. I'm telling you just how I read my bills. And when I read them and they say, oh, you can clear this one in 3 years by doing this, compared to paying minimum balances and paying $20,000 more, That's just basic to me. That's just basic numbers. Okay. So if you want to know, man, can I really fix this? Yes. The Father might have to help you be obedient in your budgeting. He will probably have to come with you to do certain things. I would seek professionals that can help make these things even more simple for you, because there is a way to live your life better. The only question is, will you walk in? Okay, so that's one of the check-ins. All right, so these are the three that we're going to go through, definitely on the live. And as you can see, we have just under 15 minutes to go. So if you guys have been with me, thank y'all so very much. We're going to switch gears because I want to make sure that I give you the action points. Okay, the action points, there's a couple of them. Yes, I would love to give you the other three check-in points. But again, if you want to subscribe and get the other three and get all of the stuff that goes with it, feel free to do that. I'm going to share a couple of the action points with you so you can be aware of them. Because you might say, well, Krystal, I love everything you said. What do I need to do? This is what you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to just pop this ahead a few times because I got to in order to get to where we're going. All right, here we go. All right, so it's getting there. Oh, hold on. I did too many. All right, cool. All right, so here are the action points. Okay, action points. One, congratulations for dreaming big. There's nothing wrong with dreaming big. And when you dream big, there are going to be things that pop up you weren't anticipating. And when they pop up, it's not a sign for you to go back to what you used to be or any of that stuff. Okay, no, this is a sign that the Father wants you to what? Elevate, to bless up, to level up, to go to another level. You don't go to new levels and new heights without what? New challenges. Okay, so a new challenge is not the devil. Okay, it's not that. I know for some of us, we feel like this is so hard, it can't be God. Let me let you know, the Father will give you a test. And it's not to break you or any of those things, but it's really to show you how strong you really are. All right. So that's one of the things I want you to know. Another one is right on for going after your dream. Look at how you are getting along. The ends don't always justify your means. Okay. I know we got all of these sayings out here, but I want to let you know that one of the ones that we have to rework, you want to pull everything through the word of, filter it through the word of God. And one of the things I want to encourage you is that the end doesn't, or the means doesn't the end doesn't always justify the means, meaning how you get to the end or how you get to your purpose or how you buy your house. If you had to go through corruptive measures, was it really worth it? Can you enjoy the house if you're wondering if it'll be taken away because you bought more than you really could afford? Okay. Did you get more and now you have to clean more and now you don't really have any time because you're spending more time being busy with managing a house or managing something than enjoying it. Okay. So when we overdo it, okay, we can find ourselves paying for it. All right. It might not sound like you will, but sometimes you can. When we are facing our fears, confidence is the solution, is the key. Don't get emotional, but be practical. I know for some of us, when things are bothering us, we want to break down crying. Some of us are crying and we're just sitting, feeling sorry for ourselves. And I'm going to let you know that is not going to change it. Now, I ain't saying sometimes you may not need a moment, to get that out. Take your moment. But once you're done with your moment, now it's time to get practical. Okay, Lord, this is bothering me. Why is it bothering me? Okay, I'm not seeing how to do this. Get very clear. Why? Because if you want the Father to help you, if he sends you somebody to help you, how are they going to help you and you don't know what you need? How are you going to go to the doctor's office and say, I hurt? Where? I hurt. Where? Because you can hurt anywhere and they won't know what to do, so they can't help you. So some of you are saying my business is struggling. Where? Well, I don't know. It's struggling. Okay. Do you want us just to give you an analysis and just look at everything? No. I don't want to do that. I want you just to fix it. I don't know what I'm fixing. I just want you to write my book. Can we do a consultation? No, I don't want to pay for a consultation. I just want you to do this. Okay, I'll just do that then. But I don't know. I might need something else. Okay, do you want to do the consultation? Well, no, I don't want to pay for that. I just want you to do what you're going to do. And then if you think I should, first of all, whoa. You have two options. Consultation, and I can tell you with my expertise, or you tell me what you want, and I'll give you what you want based on your expertise. Okay, so this is how a lot of us are struggling, is because we are asking professionals based on our expertise what we want, and we're not allowing people who have more wisdom than we do to guide us. So you want to learn to be teachable as you're practical. Okay, if you're just working on your own emotions, I'm the boss, I can do what I want to do, you won't be a boss of something that will last especially for most small companies. Now, the ones that are established, you can run your business into the ground. You can lose a lot of quality people. A lot of loss can happen. And yes, your company could manage to stay afloat, but it can be a fraction of what it could have been, or it was, or it should be. Okay. And the question is, was it worth it? What? Because of your pride, because of someone else's, because you didn't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Sometimes you got to make tough decisions. Okay. And that's one of the parts that goes with being a boss. It's not always the fun stuff where you get to go to the Maldives and all that other stuff. No, sometimes it's, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to let you go. I'm sorry, but this isn't working the way I need it to. But I will definitely keep you in mind for somebody else, but this isn't what I need. Okay. And you can say that professionally, romantically. Not everybody's the devil because it doesn't work out. They're just not the person you need. It's not the person that you need to go where you're going. Okay. So for some of you, some of those relationships will go because they're not going. The Bible says, how can two walk together if they can't agree? They don't agree, in fact. Okay. So if you're finding yourselves, well, he wants to go left and you're going right. He's trying to help and lead you. You won't let him. You don't respect him because you feel like he hasn't earned it. Like he wants you to respect him, even though he didn't earn it. That's not walking together. Okay. And that relationship, it may sound good in the beginning. It may make you smile, but don't allow superficial things to be more important than the core things, because eventually those are going to be the things that break you up anyway. Okay. So another thing, a couple more. Have you given up on what could be? Look at the solution from another angle. If you find yourself giving up, if today you've given up, if you cannot see past the forest, the trees, everything's blocking you, I want you to get another vantage point. Sometimes you got to get a bird's eye view. Sometimes you need to be on the ground because what you're trying to find is so small you can't see it from the sky. Sometimes you're just so highly minded you can't relate to other people. You can't relate to your children because you don't see life the way they do. And sometimes you are too much on their level and you can't be an adult. You can't parent them because you're trying to be their friend. Okay. So you need to look at how are you doing something and determine what vantage point you may need to be in to learn what the Father has for you. Okay. Because sometimes we don't want to learn these lessons, but the Father needs us to learn them. Okay. Another one, let faith and the power of God take you where you can never achieve on your lonesome. Okay. Having the power and influence of the Father on your life is wonderful, but it is something he wants to get to you, but there's always something he wants from you. Okay. And so you got to ask yourself the question, Father, what's my purpose? Because who owns your purpose? The one that formed you in your mother's belly and knew you already and said, I'm making this one to do this. The question is what? Every angel that fell from heaven all had an assignment. Some of them, one of them was over time, one was over machinery, one was over weaponry. These things weren't meant to cause what we use them for now. But when they decided to worship themselves and do what they wanted to do, it's a whole lot to go to that. I'm just going to say it in brief. Okay. They chose to do it the way they wanted to. And how many of y'all know when we try to do our purpose the way we want to, we will limit what the Father wants to do because it's always bigger than you. It requires his influence. So if you want to live your whole life without him, you won't know what else was out there because you didn't invite the one to the table that made you. You just assume because you know yourself that whatever you're thinking is just as good. How many of y'all know he says my ways are higher? So if right now the only thing you can see is what you can believe for, thank you so much, Dark Lord. I appreciate you too. Okay. And that's all you've been seeing and all you can believe for. I want to let you know to reach higher because that's how high he goes. Okay. Real quick, we are powerful, but we are not all powerful without his help. And the greatest help comes from on high. And I want y'all to honestly tap into that. If you were drained today, if you're depressed today, if you're going through something and it ain't been working and you don't know why or don't know how, hey, T Rose, good to see you on the live, hun. Okay, I want to encourage you. Here is the mantra for Embrace Your Crown. I want us to go through this. I'm going to mention real quick, if you want to, of course, get involved with the series, you can grab any of the books. I'll talk about them in brief here in a little bit before I end the live, y'all. We did so good. See, I told y'all only 3 checkpoints. Usually I can only get through 3. But anyway, here we go. Here's the mantra. All right. You have a purpose, share your story, and embrace your crown. The best way to learn something is to teach someone else. Okay. So if you really want to learn something or show yourself, man, I elevated, I've grown, teach it to someone else. Teach it to your children, teach it to a stranger, teach it in a group, teach it with a job. It can be part of your job. Teach it as a ministry, okay? But make sure you are teaching someone else what you've learned to do. Teach it online. Go live, okay? Go live on whatever platform. Definitely TikTok is one of the ones I love. So if you have never gone live just to have a conversation and connect with people, do that. It will help you too, okay? Another thing, you will not grow to all you can be if you do not train someone to stand in your place. I want to let you know legacies are built not just because of what you do, but what you train others to do after you're gone. Martin Luther King would be a forgotten man if there wasn't other people who also believed in his dream. To this day, we celebrate once a year his dream because we realize his dream was what? Legendary. It was something worth extending beyond his lifetime because he's gone, but his legacy is what? Still running. How many of you want your legacy to keep running? Okay. If the answer is yes, let's keep going. Okay. Find a worthy trainee because they will carry your legacy. For some of you, your trainee may not be your children. Sometimes it's somebody who what can be like-minded. So that's why you go to church. This is why you find organizations. This is why you gather on social media with people that what are like-minded. They don't have to be the same race. They don't have to be the same gender, but they do have to have what? The same likeness, the same mind. So when you're feeding and they're feeding, then you can what? Blossom in an atmosphere like that. Okay. Another thing, your legacy is built by how you live and what you leave behind. Your legacy is twofold. It's all of that, and then it blossoms. Okay. Thank you so much, Hot Boy, for following. I see you. Welcome to the live. All right. Secure your future generations by leaving them something to share and enjoy. I want to let y'all know too. It's not just money that we, of course, leave. For some of us, money ain't never something somebody left us. But you want to make sure that what you are leaving is what you want to also be remembered by. Okay. And it's not just what you leave behind, but what, again, you taught somebody and they can do when you're gone. Okay. It's one of the most truest things about building a legacy for those of you who care to have one. Okay. Having a legacy is something you're intentional about. It's not something that happens by accident. So if you have not been taking the time to build your legacy, let me let you know real quick, there won't be one. You might say, Krystal, my children ain't gonna forget about me. How many of you are living and your children have forgot about you? How many of you, I don't mean that to be funny, I mean that to be genuine. So when you're building your legacy, you have to realize the same effort you put into whatever your preparations are is going to be the same effort, okay, that people will give. Now, you might say, well, Krystal, I gave so much effort into my children. I understand. But did you only give it into your children? Or did you give it in other places? I know so many teachers that are blessed, not because of their children taking care of them solely. Some of them have children that do. Some of them have children that don't even talk to them. But they have students that will come back and tell them, man, if it was not for you, I would have never learned how to do this. I would have never gotten this. Some of you are going to mother and father people you've never birthed, but they need you. This is why I wrote a book, A Mothering Spirit and a Fathering Spirit, because some of you have it. And a lot of us, there are people who are 30 years old that still need a mom. There are people who are 50 years old but need a dad, that their dad was never there. And so he struggles with some of the things people will call common, but it wasn't common for him to have someone to teach him. So in fact, it's unfamiliar territory. And we penalize people who don't have these foundations. This is why I tell you, if you are a good mom or you experienced one, if you experienced a not good one, but you learn how to overcome it, your stories need to be told, because there are too many people that are struggling at every age bracket. They're not just children. These are adults that are struggling with mother and father needs. And if you can put it in a book, if you can share it, you will be surprised at how many people need to hear your story. And you can leave a legacy with adults that will teach their children what they learned from you. Okay? So it's awesome. Never lose focus on the goal, your purpose, and what you set out to do or was born to do, because these are the things that will help you to feel fulfilled in the long run. Some of us that feel like life sucks and we don't want to be here and love, you know what I'm saying? It's because we have lost sight of what we were really working on and what we were really doing. Okay. And as long as that becomes more important or more stronger in our hearts, then we will find ourselves battling contentment. Okay. So real quick, I want to just walk you through these three books. After I walk through these three books, I'm going to let you guys go for sure here on TikTok so you can go and do what you need to do. So here is the first book in the series. The first book in the series for Embrace Your Crown is Open Seven Gates to Overcome Heartbreak. Okay, so here are the topics: time, purpose, patience, patterns, wants and desires, atmosphere, and lifestyle. These seven gates are why a lot of us are ultimately struggling with our relationships, with our future, with our businesses, how we manage, or how we honestly never start or we keep quitting things. So I want to encourage you, if you are struggling with starting and stopping, something is holding you back. And the question is it the way that you see time? Are you too patient with people? And so you let people just do whatever they want to do and you just pick up the pieces. You're so busy picking up everybody else's pieces, you can't put your pieces together. So if that's been your life, if you are taking care of everybody and missing taking care of yourself, or investing the time, investing the money because you're borrowing or loaning money out, I want to encourage you to embrace your crown. I want you to know that your plans, your dreams are important too. What you want to do on your Saturday is important too. Why do you let other people hijack your plans and then allow them to justify it? Okay. Until you start taking you seriously, they won't either. Okay. And then they'll say, well, she told me I could. They'll blame you. And you're like, but I only did it to help you. Okay. So I want to encourage you, make sure you are doing what you want to do because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one that has to deal with it. Okay. So then we already talked about book 2. I shared that one with you earlier, but here are the 5 chapters in case you're curious. I'll put this book up again in case you're new to the live and you weren't here. But these are the 5 topics ultimately that are talked about in book 2. This one is Open 5 Gates to Overcome Unbelief. All right, so it's make room for miracles, know the promise, dare to dream, kick negativity, and take courage and work. Okay, you can't say, "Oh, I'm so bold, I'm so strong, I'm so," and you're like, "Okay, well, show me your works. What have you done? What have you accomplished?" Oh, I'm figuring things out. If that's the case, then yeah, there's a bit more that we may need to still unpack there, because you want to make sure you are taking the time to put your dreams first, yes, but also overcoming any unbelief you have that makes other people question, if you're worth following or not. All right. So I want to encourage you. Okay. And then the last book that's in the series, for now, is book 3. Okay. So here is book 3. Book 3 is Open 3 Gates to Sharpen Your Focus. Some of us are struggling not because we lack any knowledge, it's because we lack focus. Meaning somebody will say a comment, somebody will post something, somebody will do something. And when they do that, we lose sight of what we were doing. And then we're arguing with people we don't even know. Like we're just doing all of the stuff. And this is what some people's job is. They're to be the distractor, the disruptor. And this is why your meetings get hijacked. This is why you're not getting anything done, is because you're focusing on the distraction instead of focusing on your purpose. Okay. How you doing? Thank you so very much, The Brado. How you doing? I appreciate you for looking at the book as well. All right. So I'm going to encourage you on that. And then there are 2 other books that I want to acknowledge that make up the series for sure, which is Write Anything Easily for sure and Turnkey Business Solution. So if you're in this live and you are wanting to write and edit, publish, tell your story, I definitely encourage book. It's number 6 in the shop. It's also going to be here on the screen. If you need this help, feel free to grab this book. I can definitely show you how to edit, write, and publish your stories, make it simple and affordable. So I encourage you to grab this. You'll also get a consultation with me. And in that consultation, I can review where you are, give you a direction on what you can do, and then you can choose the best way forward. Whether you hire a publisher, you do it yourself, or what have you, you can definitely, or hire my company, of course. We can definitely help you to go through the steps with KLE Publishing. All right. And then lastly, if you are wanting to ultimately launch your business and you want to make that a lot easier, that's what we also do, is we help people to not just start, but finish what they start and setting up their companies so that they're in good position to go from dreaming to paid. If that is definitely your goal, to launch, start a business and do it right. This is my guide. This is how I help a lot of people to do it. It does come with a consultation with me, with my company, and we will help you with those steps. You can either hire us if you want us to do it, or you can ultimately go ahead and just ultimately read the book and do it yourself. So you can take advantage of either one of those. And then lastly, if you do want to subscribe, you can definitely check out Embrace Your Crown to learn more. Next month on June 7th is the next first Sunday. So on that next first Sunday, you'll be able to learn more about that, which is, let me tell y'all what the title is for next month. Next one is The Weather is Fine. What's the excuse now? Okay. The weather is fine. So what's the excuse now? For some of us, we stop moving because it's raining or whatever. We could come up with all kinds of excuses. But when we run out of excuses, then the question is, what's really stopping us? What's really blocking us? What's really in the way? And when we start asking those hard questions, that's when we can get to real solutions. Okay. So if I can bless you, join me back again next first Sunday, which is June 7th at 4 p.m. Central. If you would like to learn more about KLE Publishing, to write and tell your stories and get published, you can definitely do a search for that. And you'll find us. And I would love to talk to you more about your books. And if you need business services help, you can do the same thing and just use those connection points. If you would like to follow me, thank you so much for being on this live. Feel free to hit the follow and you'll know when I go live again, which will probably be Tuesday, I'm thinking. Mondays are usually my prep days for the week, so I usually don't go live. But if I can, I will. And if I can't, I'm glad I didn't tell you I would. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. And yeah, so I just want to tell y'all, thank y'all so very much for being here. And I trust this has blessed you. I'm going to play one last message in case you would like to join my mentor program. If so, feel free to watch the video at the end of the video. Go ahead and yeah, do that. So yeah, that's another thing. So yeah, so I want to let y'all know. Thank y'all so very much. If
I'm
you
excited that
would
we
like
are
to
going
continue
to
to
be
support, come back
releasing
next
a
time
new
and
mentor
we'll go from
program
there.
for
All
Embrace Your
right.
Crown
So thank you,
featuring
T
all
Rose. I
three
appreciate you
books.
being in
So
here. I
if
look
you've
forward to
been
you
wanting
grabbing your
to
book
grow
too.
this
Let me
year
know
and just
how you
honestly
feel.
achieve some things
Yesterday,
you've
I
been
had a
believing
lovely
for,
lady I
praying
met
for,
too, and she
maybe you
ordered her
haven't
book.
been
I got to
praying.
post my pictures from
But
yesterday's
you just
event.
know that
So
there's
I'll
some things
probably
you
do
need to
that
do, you
later
want to
today.
do,
It's a couple of
and
pictures
you
I
could
never
use
posted.
someone
I
to kind of
realized that.
nudge you and help,
I'm
you
gonna work
know,
on
just
being
keep you
better at that.
encouraged.
You're
And then
welcome.
also give you
So
some,
yeah, so thank y'all so very much
helpful,
for being here. For your long time
tips
watchers,
as you
thank
kind of,
y'all. For
go
those
through
that are
this
on the live, let me
process in your
mention you.
life.
T
So
Rose,
if I can be a part of that, I would
Bertrand,
love to. I'm
George,
Dr. Krystal
Georgette,
Lee.
thank you so
I
much.
am an author,
User,
published
Felipe,
author, minister, and
Pumpy,
chaplain, and I
Rain, how
would
you
love to
doing?
be there with you.
JCB and Beatrice
So if
Scott.
I can do
Thank
that
y'all so
for you,
much for
be
being
there
here. I
with you, let me
appreciate you
know,
all. And
and
I
I
look
look
forward
forward
to
to
seeing
seeing
you
you in my
again on the
mentor
next live
program.
for the
You
next
can go to embrace
first Sunday, which is June 7th.
yourcrown.com, and
Okay.
you
If
can
you like what you've
essentially
heard and you
enroll
want
into my
either to go
Embrace Your
through the
Crown mentor
mentoring or something like
program. So
that,
if
just
you would
send me a
like to
message with more
join,
questions
please go to
and I
my
can help
website,
there. If you want to
embraceyourcrown.com.
order any of the books, they're all in my TikTok shop. So feel free to grab them and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now. Have a wonderful night.